Well, hello there, hospital ports, pride and dignity and all that sort of thing. It's Christmas Day, and as promised, I've got you a video. Yeah, it's the best Christmas movies a hospital porter reacts. I hope you're doing all right out there, guys. I hope you've had a lovely day. I hope you've had fun and you spent it with your families and all the other things people do at Christmas. That's a really, really good thing to do. Yeah, I've actually just been to my dad's house. I went there. Um, his girlfriend was there. My daughter was there. Her boyfriend. Not my brother. He's in Bristol at the moment on seeing friends. I've actually there was also a guy an old friend of my dad's who I've known my whole life. He was there. He's a lovely chap. He's like a member of the family really, and he was there. It was great. No, it was fun. We had a lovely afternoon. Had a lot to eat. Oh God, yeah, I had too much really. But then that's Christmas for you, isn't it? And drinking, of course. I did have some drink. I've still got some here. So yeah, I have. This is wine. So I'm going to drink as I make this video, just like I made. I think I did that last year's Christmas video. I can't remember. Anyway, best Christmas movies. Yeah. Oh, by the way, let me know what how you guys are getting on, what you're doing. You know, what sort of Christmas day you've had. I hope it's been a nice one. You've had friends and family and been blessed with those things like I have. Really makes a difference. It really makes everything special. Let me know. So Christmas movies. I mean, there's a lot of Christmas movies. I mean, I found out there are over 200 listed on Wikipedia, and I knew that because when I was reviewing that Silent Night, that was a very weird, quite dismal Christmas movie, I must say. Yeah, that was quite a bit of a. Didn't put me on a downer, but it's not the most cheerful Christmas film in the world. There are over 200 of them. Now, we've got to ask ourselves a question: what is a Christmas movie and what is not? A Christmas movie is not just a movie set at Christmas time. For example, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. Eyes Wide Shut is not a Christmas movie. Now, both those films are set in the Christmas period. In Eyes Wide Shut, of course, there's all the different types of Christmas tree in every scene, which makes it very interesting. But it's not a Christmas movie because the Christmas itself, the season, is not the theme. Same with Die Hard. Die Hard is set around Christmas time, but it's not. It's about Bruce Willis wandering around in bare feet trying to stop terrorists. I mean, that's not a Christmassy theme. A Christmas film actually has Christmas and what you might call Christmassy ideas. Peace on earth, goodwill to all men, family, all of that American sentimental stuff, which we all love deep down, don't we? As part of its theme. That's what makes a film a Christmas film, and there are over 200 of those. Now, you know what my answer is going to be for my favourite Christmas film, because I've said so already. I've done an entire video about it. I think it was last year. It is, of course, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life, of course, a classic 1946 American Christmas drama. It's the greatest work by Frank Capra. He produced it, directed it. It was written by two of his friends. James Stewart is in it. It's his classic role as George Bailey, a man who has given up. He's essentially he's given up on life. He's about to commit suicide. He's going to commit suicide because he feels that he's a failure. He feels that he's a failure. He had big dreams when he was a kid, and he never fulfilled them, and he feels he's a failure, and he's about to kill himself. He's about to jump off a bridge. And then his guardian angel comes down and persuades him not to, for an amazing, amazing experience. It's such a good film. I mean, and it's the sort of film that does change people's lives. In the review, if you do I have to put a link in the description box? Well, maybe I will. Oh, all right, I will. But it's Telly Savalas, the actor who played Kojak. He told an amazing story about what happened to him when he went to see it when he was 19 years old. It was a transformational experience to him, as he says. It brought out the integrity in me. It's a lot of other people say that kind of stories about this particular film, and It's it was actually attacked during the Red Scare as well. McCarthy became a victim of McCarthyism, which is weird because it's not. There's no communist propaganda in it. If anything, it's about sort of family values and it has a religious, spiritual aspect to it as well. So I don't know why it was McCarthy. I've talked more about that in the review about Ayn Rand was involved in that, which is to her to her detribution. It wasn't a popular film when it was launched. It came out it was released in 1946 and was a box office flop. A lot of people thought it should never have been made, but over time, it has grown over time. And it's built up support over the years and become more and more popular. Rescreenings became more and more popular. When it got onto TV, it became very, very popular. It became it gained new fans. Eventually, it got into home. Eventually, with the dawn of home media, VHS, DVD, Netflix, etc., it became a firm favourite with those platforms as well. And of course, I went to see it in the cinema. I got to see it on the big screen. They showed it at this local, the Phoenix, not the Phoenix, the Ultimate Picture Palace. Yeah, and I'm so glad I did. And I'm so glad I got to do that. It was difficult to make. I mean, for example, the snowy scenes. They built an entire outdoor set for Bedford Falls, this imaginary town where George lives, and they. I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail because I do it in the review, but they filmed that in the summer of 1945, which is actually one of the hottest ever recorded. Temperatures were over 100 degrees Fahrenheit every day. And of course, that's not real snow. That would melt instantly. It's just it's corn flour. It's basically made from popcorn. It's a common substance used to create fake snow in the movies, and they were wrapped up in warm winter jackets. It was like between shots they just had to strip everything off and like pour ice water over themselves, and it stopped them sweating when they were in this thing. Yeah, yeah. It's a wonderful film, and you know what? It's again I don't want to repeat myself too much, but it has the concept of parallel universes. Now, of course, that's something that fascinates me, and I know it fascinates a lot of you. But this, to my knowledge, this is the first ever movie that was ever made which has that feature in its plot, that has that theme, the theme of parallel universes, other worlds. In the case of George Bailey, he's taken to a parallel universe by the angel, and he's shown a world in which he had never been born. It's only that real way. Literally, he has to. It's only that way, and it's a horrible place. It's a horrible place. It's a world he's never been born, and it's a horrible place. The whole town where he lives is in ruins and is a den of iniquity and horrors, and everyone's life is a misery because he'd never been born. And that way, he realised he has had a wonderful life, and he gains a. It gives him a new zest for life. A new will to live, and he doesn't commit suicide. Yes, definitely, It's a Wonderful Life is my favourite Christmas movie, no doubt about it. Another, I don't have a second favourite, third favourite, or so on and so on. Again, this is kind of a, what's the word? This is kind of just a list of ones I like. So I'm a bit drunk. A list of ones that I like. I've got some dragon juice as well, by the way. Another really, really good Christmas movie is, and this is why, again, I'm going to focus on the less well-known ones now, is The Night They Saved Christmas. Now, The Night They Saved Christmas is not very well known. It was made in 1984. It's a TV movie, quite low budget. It has an element to it, a very, very powerful theme, which you see that comes up again in other films, which I know a lot of you guys like. They're very popular. You find it in films such as Avatar, and that is humanity versus bureaucracy, that kind of thing. The greed and corporate expansion and imperialism versus simple love and humanity and that sort of thing. You know, it is like a recurring theme that comes up again and again in many films. And this, believe it or not, has that theme. It's very unusual to have that kind of feature in a plot of a Christmas movie. But I mean, it is kind of screwed in a sense, unless you could say that A Christmas Carol has that theme, which it does in a way. It does in a way. But I'll come on to that in a minute, because A Christmas Carol is going to come up in this particular video. This is about a man and his family who are running an oil prospecting business in the North Pole, and they're blasting with dynamite various parts of the ice cap. And eventually, and there's all kinds of things, the big boss from the oil company's on the phone telling him to get a move on, just keep blasting and blasting, get that oil for me, or you're in trouble, that sort of things. And one day he's in his office, and he has a visit from a man who is essentially an elf of Santa Claus. And he tells him that look, your blasting is causing damage to the North Pole colony of Santa Claus. And the man, of course, is completely incredulous and thinks it's some kind of joke. But as time goes on, they realise this is what's actually happening. This oil company is threatening the existence of what they call North Pole City, which is Santa's community of elves and his family, and where he makes all the toys and flies the sleigh from and things like that. There's Santa in it. He's played by, what's his name as the actor? I think it's Ed. We find the actor's name. It's Art Carney's the name of the actor. He's kind of like, he's not. I think he's dead now. He's pretty old in this film, of course. But and of course, what follows is a plot not unlike Avatar. They have to essentially, the family, the man who's running the oil blasting exploration, to prospect for new oil fields, has to make a choice whether he's going to go with humanity or with bureaucracy. And of course, in the end, he chooses humanity, of course, and he saves North Pole City and all that sort of thing. It's very, it's like that. It's a kind of, it's a very moralistic story. So it's like Avatar in that respect. And they're saying basically, if you keep blasting away, you're going to destroy North Pole City. Santa will be killed, and there'll be no more Christmas. Which do you do? You have these sort of things in it. Oddly enough, there's an episode of Star Trek. What's it called? Hang on. I know what's it. There's a creature called a Horta, which is in Star Trek, and it's this thing that can burrow through rocks. The episode's called The Devil in the Dark, and what it is what happens is it's in the original series. It was first broadcast on March the 9th, 1967, and it's quite an astonishing film. It's quite an astonishing episode, not least because it's very like this. It's very like this. What happens is there's a mining colony on some planet, and all the Star Trek geeks will be yelling would have been yelling at me, Ben, this is it. So I wouldn't have to pause it and look it up, but. The crew turned up. They end up on this planet where there's an underground mining colony. There's no atmosphere or anything like that. It's just like a moon around some gas giant, and inside there's these humans mining, and they keep getting attacked. The mining operation is continuously attacked by some weird creature that can move through rock and uses very powerful acid to burn its way through the rock and also to kill its victims. And Spock, using his mind meld technique, reads the creature's mind and finds out that all this creature is doing is it's protecting its eggs. It has these eggs made of stone, which all the miners think are just crystalline formations. They're actually the eggs of the creature of the next generation. And this mining operation is harming the eggs of this creature, and it's trying to defend its eggs. It's like the mother of this particular next generation. And the moment the mining operation discovers this, they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll stop straight away." Oh God, Star Trek is so utopian. It really is. It's lovely. Star Trek is lovely in many ways, but it's incredibly naive. And I remember even thinking that when I was a little kid and I saw it. Would that really happen in real? Would that happen in real life? Or would they go, right, okay, sorry, we're going to have to keep going. Sod the aliens, sod the alien creature, we're going to keep going. Yeah, it's it's a great episode, not least because it brings in the idea of different kinds of life with different kind of body chemistry. In this case, life made out of stone, silicon. But it's very emotional. It's very sad, but it ends happily. And indeed, I'm sorry, I'm digressing slightly. It's just that this film, and that reminds me. They both remind me. The Night They Saved Christmas and this Star Trek episode reminds me. The two things remind me of each other. Excuse me. In the end, the only reason I'm sorry, I'm going to have to include a spoiler. The only reason the Night They Saved Christmas ends well is because the reason they managed to save North Pole City is because they managed to find oil in another place, which is why they stopped the dynamiting around North Pole City. But it's a lovely film. It's a lovely kind of like, what's the word? It's a very, very sort of powerful, politically themed Christmas movie, I suppose, which is unusual, but it's a very good one. It's also kind of like Santa Claus also has a more kind of science fiction feel to him rather than supernatural. He uses a time distorted device and things like that, so he could fly around the world and deliver the presents and stuff like that. Oh, it's worth seeing. And the next great movie within this series of Christmas films it's an odd one you wouldn't expect me to talk about, but it's called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie. Don't laugh. Now, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a children's film, yeah, and it appeals to that part of me that's never really grown up. Most people have inside them, not least I think because the reason I came to like this movie is because I watched it with my daughter when she was young, and this of course is centered. The song it's the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He had a very shiny nose, etc., etc., and the story is essentially developed out of the lyrics of that song. So you have like the reindeer games, you have Santa came on Christmas Eve and things like that. It's all in the story. It tells the story of a little reindeer who lives at the North Pole. And he has a bright red nose. His name's Rudolph. He has a bright red nose. And the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names. And of course the lyrics of that song are the outline of the story. And eventually his nose is special because he runs away from home because of the awful things, the way people treat him. But he finds his way into becoming a very, very special kind of reindeer, and one that Santa needs very badly to help him pull the sleigh, because his red nose actually provides light in a night where there's a terrible storm and Santa has to get out there and deliver the presents. And so Rudolph, with his big red nose, lights the way. And it's a musical. It's has lots of songs, and Louisa, my daughter, and I used to watch them. Used to watch this film over and over again. Not just at Christmas. We used to watch it all the time when she was a little kid. And it's got songs like, and I can remember them. It's got the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, of course. It has that in it. But there's also I Hate Santa Claus, that faithful Santa Claus. Whoopi Goldberg is in it, as Stormella. There's got she's supposed to be an evil witch. She's actually very funny. I know Whoopi Goldberg's he's gone down in my estimation since she got Trump derangement syndrome. But she's very good in this, doing the voice of Stormella, this evil witch, supposedly an evil witch, but she's kind of Stormella is more of an anti-hero than a witch. She's very funny. And there's this, Eric Idle does a voice of this Arctic fox called Slyly, and he has this song called It Could Be Worse. It was a go for every step forward. There's a step in reverse. Things could be better, they could also be worse. Things could be better in this big universe, but remember it could always be worse. And there's this polar bear, and it's kind of like it is a kids' film, but it's one that I enjoyed enormously. Partly because I watched it with my daughter, and she was a little baby, and I was we used to watch things with her as fathers do, And it was released to the cinema. It was a box office flop. It's So it didn't. It was very, very bad actually. It only grossed $113,000. It cost $10 million to make. Grossed 113,000. So it was a very, very, very badly performing film. But I really love it. I really think it's good. It's got some great songs in it, and most of them are not very well known, but they have been used in other movies apart from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's also got the wonderful Christmas time, simply having a wonderful Christmas time. That's in it. The one by Paul Mc. It's the one by Paul Mc. That song by Paul Mc. It's the song by Sir William Shepherd. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. So do check that out. I really do. I don't know. You may not appeal to you. I suppose it appeals to me because of the family connection I have with it. I probably wouldn't watch it if it hadn't been for Louise, being a little child, 3, 4 years old, and wanting to watch a Christmas movie. And I watched this with her, and she loved it, and I watched it with her over and over again. It became part of our father-daughter relationship, I suppose. Yeah, very, very good. Anyway, the final film I'm going to talk about. I mean, there's probably other Christmas films I could think about which I really like, but I would say probably the last one I want to bring up is a version of Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol. Now there are many, many of those. I think there's dozens of them, including several animated ones which are really good. But the one I think I didn't expect to say this when I went to watch it, but the one I think is probably the best is the Muppet Christmas Carol. And the Muppet Christmas Carol is, of course, you think it's going to be like a rather cheap and nasty and rather cringy and kitsch version of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This very famous 1843 novella, which, of course, has become a classic Christmas story. But it's not. It's actually very well done. I mean, firstly, the only human character, the non-puppet character in the entire film, is Ebenezer Scrooge himself, who's played by Michael Caine, and he does it very well. Michael Caine is a very good Scrooge. He's really excellent. And believe it or not, even though the rest of the cast are all puppets, and they're not just any puppet, they're puppets. Most of them are puppets we're familiar with from other productions. The whole cast from the Jim Henson Studio, Fozzie Bear, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, etc., etc. Despite that, it's very well done indeed. It's very well put together. It's faithful to the original story. It has lots of humour and things that obviously are not in the story, but it does fit very, very well to the original story. It's a very faithful reproduction of the original story, and I do think it's the one I probably enjoyed the most of this entire situation the entire gamut of film adaptations of this story. It is probably the one I enjoyed the most. It was released in 1992, it's the actual puppets were very well designed, including the ones which are not. There were puppets which were made specially for the particular film, like the Ghost of Christmas Present, things like that. A lot of the main characters were performed by what you know as the classic Muppets, which we all know of. Bob Cratchit is like Kermit the Frog, etc., etc. Yeah, and it's a musical too. It has some great songs, like in the Ghost of Christmas Future. Of course, Scrooge has shown his own death. He's shown his own grave, and people are singing a song to celebrate the death of Scrooge. People are happy that he's gone because he's so horrible. Yeah. So that's another good one. That is. That's another good. That's another good one. There's probably others I could think of, but I can't right now. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Christmas. I hope you guys are all having fun. There's lots more I've got planned. What's happening? Well, there'll be another film. I'm going to do another video tomorrow for Boxing Day. How does that sound? Something I think you'll hopefully you will like. I've got another hospital porter reacts. Another hospital porter. Sorry, I'm a bit drunk. Another hospital porter reacts video. I just realised I haven't got a hat on. So you just have my shiny bald head. You know what? Last year I had one of those paper crowns, didn't I? You know, one of those paper crowns that I was sticking up. I was checking my notes on my phone to see if I've forgotten anything. You had like these. Oh yeah, I've got to ask you this question. That's right. Yes. Okay. I've got one more thing I've got to ask you. I made a note. I'd forgotten something. But yeah, last year I had like a paper crown, you know, from a cracker. But there was no crackers at my dad's house. We didn't have any. Oh, that's all right. We had a lovely time, but it's just I'm used to having crackers, and we didn't have any crackers. Like, we didn't have any crackers. But not to worry, not to worry. We had a lovely time, like I said, so it was fun. Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, what I've got to do, one more little thing I've got to ask you. All right. Did you have a white Christmas where you are? Of course, that will depend on where you're living in the world and indeed the country. I think for something to qualify as a white Christmas, you have to have like snow in London. I think for a white Christmas in Britain, you have to have snow in London. Well, snow. The south of England gets much less snow than the north part of the country. Snowfall varies a lot according to where you are in the country, according to the climate of the north of the country and the south. From what I gather, some places did have a white Christmas today. We didn't. It was like mild and wet, as usual. Well, I went out and did one job, just one little job I had to do. No white Christmas here in Oxford. Nowhere else really in the south of the country. Last time I remember a white Christmas was 2010, and I know it's 2010 because I was living in a particular house. I was only living there for a year. And there was snow on Christmas Day. I remember it. Yeah, I do remember. I made a video, I think. I might have even made a video, or certainly did an article or something like that. But I was in this house when I was just there for 1 year. So, no white Christmas here. Let me know if you had one. If you did, I hope you enjoyed it. Now, whether it was white, brown, black, or any other colour, I hope you had a very lovely Christmas. I hope you're enjoying your Christmas Day, and I want to wish all HPANWO TV viewers a very, very Merry Christmas. And don't forget, lots more coming up in 2022. I want to thank everyone, actually, for the support you've given me over this year. And then Christmas is a good time to talk about things like this. I appreciate you very, very much. All of you who have watched quietly and lurked or just listened and left comments, thank you very much indeed. I think I said this yesterday, didn't I? Not sure I'm saying it again. Thank you very much, all of you. Much appreciated. You guys are great. Couldn't do without you. And so, Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, all of you. Merry Christmas. See you tomorrow with another video.